let's begin with null safety. All right, so I'm first going to create my file null safety dot. All right, so what is null? Let's talk about null before we talk about null safety. Do we have anything on null here? I don't think so. Alright, so what is null? What is null in programming? Let me see what it is in JavaScript. Alright, so null is simply a value that represents the absence of any object value. Alright, so it's simply the absence of a value. That's what null is. Absence of a value. Okay, so let's say I declare a variable string name and I just attach a semicolon here without initializing a value to it. I'm going to have this error that says the non-nullable variable name must be initialized. What this means is that, okay, and then it says try adding an initializer expression. Alright, an initializer expression just simply means I should do this. I should initialize it to a string and then whatever I decide to put in here as my value. Alright, so this right here, this equal sign and this value together represents the initializer expression. Alright, but I'm going to remove that because I don't want this variable to have any value. Alright, because null is the absence of a value, so I'm trying to create a variable that has the value of null. That's what I'm trying to do. Alright, but my compiler is telling me that this is not possible, and the reason it's not possible is because this variable is non-nullable. So there's something known as a variable being nullable. Alright, it says the non-nullable variable must be initialized. So as long as a variable is non-nullable, it must be initialized. Non-nullable means that it's it must have a value. Alright, so if I want it to not have a value, I have to make it what? Nullable. Alright, so how do I make it nullable? It is by simply using an operator, this operator right here. Alright, this is the null operator. Alright, so what I will need to do is, while declaring this string, while declaring this value, I have to use the nullable operator. Now the value of this variable is no longer string. It is what? It is nullable string. That is what this represents. Before now it was string. It was just a string. Alright, it was just string, as you can see here. Okay, it was just string, but now it is nullable string. Okay, so now I have a null variable. So if I happen to print it, Okay, if I print it, print name, I'm going to have null. Alright, so null is my value here right now, and null is actually also a type. Alright, it is a type that represents absence of value. So I can just, if I'm sure that this variable I'm creating is not going to have any value, I can just declare it with this type null. Alright, so it's not going to have any value, it's still null. But what this actually means, this nullable string, what it actually means is that this variable may or may not have a value. Remember, null is the absence of value. Right? So if I declare a variable with this type, let's say nullable string or nullable list or nullable int or nullable double or nullable map, right? It simply means that my value can either have the value of whatever it is, in this case nullable string. All right, so it means that my variable can either have a value of string or null. All right, so that's what it simply means. So I can, due to that, I can decide to just reassign this variable to something. Okay, and if I run it, you can see instead of null I now have Henry. All right, so in the same way, if I have nullable int, okay, now I'm having an error because a value of type string can't be assigned to the variable of type nullable int. So I'll have to change this to number. Let me just use age. Alright, age, and age is going to be an integer, of course. Alright. So before I was using string, but I decided to use int. So what this simply means is that this is a nullable variable. All right. So I can decide that it's not going to have any value, and the value is going to be null. All right. It's just going to be null, but I can actually also decide that I want to give it a value. Alright, and I've given it a value here by reassigning it, and now I'm printing it. Okay, I can actually also do the reassignment here if I want to. Okay, let me remove this one now. Okay, now I'm assigning a value to it. Okay, remember this is nullable int, and what this means is that my variable can either have a value of int or a value of null. All right, so that is just what it means. All right, so I believe I've laid the foundation for something. So let's take it a bit further. Now I can do something. If I remove this value, we all know that my variable now has a value of null, right? So what I can do is I can now use an operator. Now what this thing means is it means if null. Alright, so if my value is null, if null, so if age is null, print 15. If age is null, print 15. Okay, so that is what this operator means. It's just telling my compiler that if this value age is null, print whatever it is, whatever I supply here. Right, and of course, since it is null, it's going to print 15. But assuming it is not null, all right, it should just print 9. I don't know if you get it. This is actually a condition. All right, it says if age is null, print 15. But since age is not null, since age is not null, the value of age is going to be printed, which is this 9. So that is what's happened here. All right, we are going to see more of this. Okay, so let this just be a foundation. All right, foundation for the next 2 or 3 lessons we are going to have on this topic. So thank you very much.